A Radio Canada investigation may have you thinking twice the next time you're at the grocery store. Hidden cameras reveal that fresh packaged meat may be older than the labels suggest.
Remember when you could walk into a grocery store and actually trust what you were buying? When the prices made sense? When the meat counter was staffed by someone who knew your name? When on sale meant something was actually on sale? When you didn't need a PhD in fine print just to figure out if you're getting ripped off? Those days are disappearing. And if you're on a fixed income, what's happening in American grocery stores should make you furious. Because while you're trying to stretch your money, the biggest grocery chains in this country are playing games with you and gambling with your health. We spent weeks digging through FDA recall databases, USDA enforcement records, state health department citations, and millions of customer reviews. And here's what we found, and it will scare you. 8 grocery chains that don't deserve another dollar of your hard-earned money. But we also found 3 chains that are actually doing right by their customers. 3 places where your money buys real value and your trust isn't misplaced. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which chains to avoid and which ones are still worth your gas money. Will your regular store make the list? Let's find out. Number 8, Food Lion. We're starting at number 8 with a chain that's been trying to outrun its past for 30 years and losing. Food Lion. If you live in the Southeast, North Carolina, Virginia, Georgia, Tennessee, you know these stores. They've been part of the landscape since the 1950s. Your parents probably shopped there. But in 1992, ABC News aired hidden camera footage from inside Food Lion stores showing workers allegedly redating expired meat, bleaching spoiled chicken to hide the smell, and repackaging old ground beef with fresh. The scandal was devastating. Food Lion sued ABC and won on technicalities, but the damage was done. You'd think a scandal that big would scare a company straight. It didn't. They've remodeled and rebranded. But the recall record shows the core problems aren't gone. In 2023, Food Lion recalled frozen vegetables, their own store brand mixed vegetables and super sweet cut corn, for possible listeria contamination. In 2025, it was fresh peaches pulled from every store for the same reason. Now, here's something everyone watching needs to understand. Doctors warn that older adults and people with weaker immune systems are much more likely to end up hospitalized from infections like listeria. If you're managing diabetes or heart disease, a listeria infection can mean weeks of recovery. For some people, it's fatal. If you're watching this with your grandkids in the room, this is the kind of infection you cannot afford to bring home in a bag of on-sale peaches. Were you shopping when that 90s scandal hit? Did you stop going, or did you go back? Let me know in the comments. Food Lion is cheap, but cheap isn't a bargain if it costs you a hospital stay. If you're in the Southeast, Publix is worth the extra few dollars. If that's what happens at a full-service supermarket, what do you think is going on in the extreme discount stores? Number 7. Save-A-Lot. At number 7, we have Save-A-Lot, a chain that promises discount prices but delivers discount everything else. Save-A-Lot started in Missouri in 1977. Small stores, limited selection, skeleton crews, rock-bottom prices. Today, they've got over 800 locations in 36 states, often in neighborhoods where other grocers have pulled out. The prices are real, so what's the problem? The problem is what skeleton crew actually means when you're 65 and trying to buy safe food. In 2024, a discount grocer called Save Mart in California paid $1.6 million after investigators found they'd been selling expired baby food, infant formula, and medications past their use-by dates. For years, the state forced them to audit every store and retrain every employee. Now, to be clear, that was Save Mart, not Save-A-Lot. But it shows exactly what happens in any discount chain running on skeleton crews and weak inventory checks. Save-A-Lot runs the same model. Minimal staff, rapid turnover. When a national recall hits, there's no guarantee anyone's pulling those products before you buy them. Shoppers describe produce with brown edges on the lettuce, milk with only a day or two left before the date, stores that feel like warehouses of leftovers. If you're on blood pressure medication that needs to be taken with food, and the only grocery within 5 miles is a Save-A-Lot with tired produce and questionable dates, that's not savings. That's a trap. Here's my advice. If Save-A-Lot is your main option, check every expiration date yourself. And if you can manage it, do your meat and dairy at a better store once a week. Treat Save-A-Lot as backup for cans and dry goods. But Save-A-Lot isn't even close to the worst offender when it comes to treating grocery as an afterthought. That award goes to a store you'd never expect. Number 6, Target. Number 6 might surprise you, it's Target. Now, Target isn't really a grocery store. It's a department store that bolted on some refrigerators and called it a day. But millions of Americans do their grocery shopping at Target. They trust that red bullseye. They assume that because Target feels clean and modern, the food must be fine. Target is a fun store. That's the problem. It makes you drop your guard around the food. When Consumer Reports breaks out grocery-specific scores, produce variety, meat quality, fresh food freshness, Target performs below average. They group it with warehouse clubs as notably weak on produce. But the real problem is what happens when things go wrong. In 2025, Target recalled 60,000 bags of their Good & Gather Southwest-style burrito bowl blend because it contained undeclared shrimp. If you have a shellfish allergy, that's not a labeling error. That's a trip to the emergency room. That's an EpiPen and a prayer. And it gets worse. FDA inspectors found recalled baby formula still sitting on Target shelves weeks after the recall was announced. Weeks. Cans sitting right at eye level in the baby aisle, long after every store should have pulled them. Target was also caught up in the massive 2024 to 2025 Bruce Pack listeria recall. Nearly 10 million pounds of ready-to-eat meat. That's enough to feed every person in New York City and Los Angeles a sandwich from the same contaminated batch. Use Target for sealed snacks and household items. Leave your fresh meat and produce for a real grocer. Speaking of stores that used to take food seriously, number 5, Safeway. At number 5, we have Safeway, and this one hurts. If you grew up on the West Coast or in parts of the Mid-Atlantic, Safeway was the neighborhood supermarket, the one with actual butchers, the one your mother trusted. That Safeway is gone. In 2015, Safeway was absorbed into Albertsons. Since then, it's been cost cuts, corner cuts, and customers left wondering what happened. What year did your Safeway stop feeling like your Safeway? Think about it. I bet you can pinpoint the moment. Today, Safeway sits at about 4.07 stars in national reviews, firmly in the bottom tier. In one study, Safeway tied Walmart with 3 locations in the 10 worst grocery stores in America. A Safeway in Denver was singled out as one of the very worst in the entire country. The safety record isn't any better. Safeway stores in Canada recalled ground beef after 19 people fell ill with E. coli, including children and an elderly adult. That was in Canada, but it shows how far standards can slip under the same banner. The FDA's 2025 warning letter about recalled baby formula sitting on shelves? Safeway's parent company was on that list too. Here's what shoppers say now. Safeway is overpriced, but it doesn't feel premium anymore. You're paying $8 for a small pack of strawberries that mold in 2 days. Whole Foods prices for Walmart execution. If Safeway has been your default for 20 years, it might be time to break the habit. You're paying for a reputation the store no longer earns. Now, Safeway is bad, but it's not the worst-rated chain in America. That distinction belongs to a name you might not recognize unless you live in Colorado. Number 4, King Soopers. Number 4 is King Soopers, and if you're not from Colorado, you've probably never heard of them. But if you live along the Front Range, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Here's why King Soopers matters. In a national study analyzing 7 million customer reviews across every major grocery chain in America, King Soopers ranked dead last. Not bottom 5, not bottom 3, dead last, the single worst-rated grocery chain in the country. King Soopers is a Kroger banner. We'll get to Kroger in a moment, operating across Colorado and Wyoming. The complaints are consistent. Chronic understaffing, endless checkout lines, dirty stores, produce that looks like it's been there a week. 6 of the 50 worst-rated individual grocery stores in America are in Denver. Several are King Soopers. One Aurora location was flagged as the second worst grocery store in the entire nation. And those long lines? They're not just annoying. When you're standing in checkout for 20 minutes, your perishables are sitting at room temperature. That chicken is getting warmer. Those cold cuts are climbing toward the danger zone. It's a food safety issue disguised as a customer service problem. King Soopers was also hit by the major listeria recalls, Bruce Pack meats, Fresh Realm prepared meals that swept through Kroger's supply chain. If you're in Colorado and King Soopers feels like your only option, it's not. A Costco, a Sprouts, even a well-run local store, any of them is worth the extra drive. Dead last in the country isn't a fluke, and if that's what dead last looks like in one state, wait until you see what the country's biggest grocer has been caught doing. If you've ever walked out of a grocery store feeling like you just got robbed, overcharged, underserved, wondering if that meat is really safe, drop a comment and tell me which chain did it to you. Start your comment with the store name and the state you're in, Walmart, Ohio, or Kroger, Georgia, so everyone can see patterns. I read every single one. And if you're finding this useful, a like helps more people see it. Now let's get to the big 3. These are the chains with the most to answer for. Number 3, Walmart. At number 3, we have the giant, Walmart. 1 out of every $4 Americans spend on groceries goes through a Walmart register. Nearly 5,000 stores in all 50 states. For millions of families, especially in rural areas, Walmart isn't a choice. It's the only option. And Walmart knows it. In a nationwide analysis of the 50 worst individual grocery stores in America, 22 of them were Walmarts. That's 44% of the entire worst 50 list. One chain, nearly half the bottom. Consumer Reports ranked Walmart supercenters near the absolute bottom for grocery satisfaction. In one survey of 96 grocery chains, Walmart was the only one to receive the lowest possible score for employee helpfulness. Not among the worst, the worst. But it's not just bad service, it's safety. Walmart was named in both major 2024 to 2025 listeria recalls, the Bruce Pack recall covering nearly 10 million pounds of ready-to-eat meat, and the Fresh Realm outbreak, prepared chicken Alfredo meals linked to multiple deaths and more than a dozen hospitalizations across several states. If your nearest hospital is 40 minutes away, a bad batch of chicken Alfredo is not just an inconvenience. It's a Saturday you might not come back from. And when the FDA sent warning letters to retailers who'd left recalled baby formula on shelves weeks after the announcement, Walmart got one. The largest grocery retailer in America couldn't manage to pull dangerous infant formula in time. Have you ever had to throw away Walmart meat as soon as you opened it? Tell me what you found. In reviews, shoppers describe packages so foul the odor lingered on their hands, in their cars, even after cleaning. Here's the bottom line. Dry goods, pantry staples, cleaning supplies, fine. But fresh meat? Produce you're eating tonight? If you have alternatives, use them. And if Walmart is truly your only option, at least avoid the ready-to-eat stuff. Be ruthless about checking use-by dates on meat and deli items. Don't gamble on anything that's already been opened or prepared in-store. But here's what really gets me. Walmart is expected to be chaotic. It's a discount giant. What's not expected is when America's traditional supermarket, the one that's supposed to be better, turns out to be just as dangerous. Number 2, Kroger. At number 2, we have Kroger. Kroger is America's grocer, founded in Cincinnati in 1883, the largest traditional supermarket chain in the country. Now, if you're in the Midwest or the South, you shop at stores with the Kroger name. But Kroger also owns King Soopers, Ralph's, Fry's, Fred Meyer, Harris Teeter, and a dozen other banners. If you shop at any of those, you're shopping at Kroger. They've spent decades positioning themselves as the trustworthy alternative to Walmart, the neighborhood store, the chain that cares. Here's what that trust has gotten you. In 2025, the Fresh Realm listeria outbreak made national news. Ready-to-eat chicken fettuccine Alfredo and pasta meals sold at Kroger stores across several states were recalled after multiple people died and more than a dozen were hospitalized. Multiple deaths at the grocery store that calls itself America's Grocer. But that wasn't the only recall. The 2024 to 2025 Bruce Pack listeria recall, nearly 10 million pounds of ready-to-eat meat, hit Kroger's store-brand products and prepared foods. Wires Farms' 2024 recall of contaminated fresh-cut fruits and vegetables listed Kroger as a retailer that received affected products. And when the FDA investigated retailers for leaving recalled baby formula on shelves, Kroger received a warning letter demanding system-level fixes. Not a single store problem, a system problem. Then there's the pricing games. Have you ever gotten to the register and realized the deal didn't ring up the way you thought? Kroger's obsession with card-based pricing has turned grocery shopping into a maze. Was that really a deal, or did you just pay full price because you didn't scan exactly the right thing? This is the one that hurts. Kroger was supposed to be the reliable choice, the traditional supermarket that hadn't sold out. But don't let 40 years of habit blind you to what's happening now. If you won't leave Kroger entirely, at least adjust. Shop their store brand for pantry items, but consider getting your meat from a local butcher or a warehouse club. Separate the risk. And as bad as Kroger is, at least it's a real grocery store. The chain at number 1 isn't even that. It's something worse. Number 1, the worst. Dollar General DG Market. And now we're at number 1. The worst place to spend your grocery money in America. I need you to hear this clearly because what I'm about to describe isn't just bad service or overpriced produce. It's something more insidious. It's what happens when corporations see struggling communities not as customers to serve, but as markets to exploit. Number 1 is Dollar General, and its grocery-focused format, DG Market. Dollar General has over 19,000 stores across America, more locations than Walmart and McDonald's combined. Small towns, rural areas, low-income neighborhoods, places where traditional grocery stores have closed up and left. And that's the point. Dollar General's business model depends on being the only option. They move in after real grocery stores move out. They set up in food deserts, places where the nearest actual supermarket might be 30 miles away. And then they sell you groceries from a store staffed by 2 people, stocked from a supply chain built for household goods, not fresh food. In 2022, FDA inspectors found severe rodent infestation at a Family Dollar distribution center. The contamination was so bad the FDA told consumers to throw away food and cosmetics from more than 400 stores. In 2024, the FDA issued a warning letter to Dollar Tree for repeatedly failing to remove recalled baby food pouches contaminated with toxic lead. Recalled products sitting on shelves weeks after alerts went out. Now, those are different companies, Family Dollar, Dollar Tree, but it's the same business model. And Dollar General is playing the same dangerous game. Skeleton staffing, weak inventory systems, and recall execution that's fantasy, not reality. If driving 30 miles to a real supermarket costs you half a tank of gas, of course you're tempted to gamble on the closer option. That's exactly what they're counting on. And the prices that look cheap? Look closer. That $1.50 can of soup might cost more per ounce than the big can at a real supermarket. Per ounce, per pound, you're often paying more for worse quality. In a store with longer lines, fewer staff, and perishables you probably shouldn't trust. If you must use Dollar General, stick to sealed, shelf-stable items. Avoid anything that lives in the coolers or freezers, and never ever buy meat there. You've worked too hard in your life to have your grocery money exploited by a company that sees your limited options as their opportunity. If you have any alternative, a grocery store 30 minutes away, a local butcher, a monthly Costco run, use it. Look at the pattern across all 8 of these chains. Underpaid staff, understaffed stores, recall systems that don't actually work, suppliers cutting every possible corner. Whether the sign says discount, neighborhood market, or supercenter, it's the same story. Your risk goes up so their costs go down. That's the business model, and you're the one paying for it, with your money, your time, and sometimes your health. But here's the good news. Not every grocery store is racing to the bottom. Some chains still believe that earning your trust matters more than extracting your dollars. 3 stores stand out. 3 places where you're getting honest value, real quality, and respect for your time and your health. Even if you don't live near any of these, they're a blueprint for what to look for and demand from the stores you do have. If you're lucky enough to live near one of these, here's why they deserve your business and how to get the most out of shopping there. Best number 3, H-E-B. At number 3, we have H-E-B and Central Market, their premium banner. You've earned the right to shop somewhere that actually feels good again. And in Texas, that place is H-E-B. If you're in Texas, you already know. If you're not, you've probably heard Texans talk about H-E-B with near religious devotion. They're right. H-E-B started as a single store in Kerrville, Texas in 1905 and has grown into more than 400 locations without ever leaving Texas. That's not a failure to expand. That's a choice. A choice to do one region exceptionally well instead of stretching thin and letting quality slide. In Consumer Reports surveys, H-E-B consistently ties with Wegmans and Trader Joe's for the highest customer satisfaction scores in American grocery. Central Market earns the absolute top rating and excels simultaneously in produce quality, variety, healthy options, and local products. No other chain matches that combination. H-E-B's store brand products are so trusted in Texas that many shoppers treat them as the default, considering national brands the exception. In YouGov polling, H-E-B ranks among the most trusted brands in the country, not just among grocers, among all brands. Here's a practical tip. If you're on a budget, H-E-B's store brand canned vegetables and frozen fruit are usually the safest bet, cheaper than national brands and reliably good. Start there. If you're in Texas, this should be your first stop. H-E-B is proof that affordable, high quality, and trustworthy can exist in the same store. And if you don't live in Texas, look for local or regional chains that behave like H-E-B, strong store brands, clean stores, and staff who actually know the products. They exist. You just have to find them. Best number 2, Wegmans. At number 2, we have Wegmans. Wegmans started as a produce cart in Rochester, New York in 1916. Today, about 100 stores across the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic, New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland, Virginia, Massachusetts. That's it, about 100 stores. They could have gone national decades ago. They chose not to. And that choice is why Wegmans consistently earns some of the highest grocery satisfaction scores in America. Walk into a Wegmans and you'll understand immediately. The prepared food section feels like a food hall. The produce section feels like a farmer's market. The staff don't just point you to aisle 7, they walk you there. Consumer Reports gives Wegmans top-tier scores for both produce freshness and variety. Most competitors, including Target and several warehouse clubs, score below average. And here's something that matters if you're tired of the games. You're not fighting with apps or loyalty tricks at Wegmans. The price on the shelf is the real price. Here's what former Wegmans shoppers say when they move away. I miss it so much. Nothing ever compares. That's not how people talk about a grocery store. That's how people talk about an institution. If you've moved away from Wegmans territory, what do you miss the most? Tell me in the comments. Now, here's a practical tip. If you can't afford to do your whole shop at Wegmans, do your meat and produce there and your pantry items at a cheaper store. That one change cuts a lot of risk. If you're lucky enough to be in Wegmans territory, you already have access to the best. Use it, especially for fresh meat and produce. Best number 1, Trader Joe's. And at number 1, the grocery chain that more Americans can actually access, with the highest ratings to back it up, we have Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's started as a small chain of convenience stores in California in the 1950s. Today, over 500 locations across the country, West Coast, Northeast, growing presence in the Midwest and South. Chances are there's one within reasonable driving distance of where you live. And here's what makes that matter. In a study of 7 million customer reviews, Trader Joe's has the highest average rating of any major grocery chain in America, 4.65 stars. 33 of the 50 top-rated individual grocery stores in the country are Trader Joe's locations. That's not a statistical anomaly. That's consistent, nationwide excellence. Consumer Reports puts Trader Joe's in the very top satisfaction tier and names its store brand as one of only 3 in the entire survey to earn top marks for quality. Not acceptable quality, top marks. And here's what might surprise you. Trader Joe's is often cheaper than conventional supermarkets, even though it feels specialty. Consumer Reports members cite examples like cereal at $2.99 versus $4.99 at a traditional grocer. You're paying less for better quality. The stores are small, the selection is limited. You won't find 5 brands of ketchup, you'll find one and it'll be good. The staff are friendly because they're paid fairly and treated well. The whole experience is pleasant. Remember when grocery shopping used to feel pleasant? Now you won't find everything at Trader Joe's. If you need very specific brands or big family-sized packs, you'll still need a second store. But that's actually the smart way to use it. Treat Trader Joe's as your second stop. Do your weekly basics elsewhere if you need more selection, then hit Trader Joe's once or twice a month to stock up on the things they do better and cheaper. Frozen meals, snacks, cheese, wine, specialty items. What's the one Trader Joe's item you'd never give up? Let me know in the comments. This is my top recommendation for most Americans. Trader Joe's proves you don't have to choose between your budget and your health. Over 500 locations, the highest ratings in the country. That's not marketing, that's earned. And it proves the whole system doesn't have to be this broken. Some people are still getting it right. So there you have it. 8 chains that don't deserve your trust or your money. 3 that actually do. Here's what I want you to take away from this. You've worked hard your whole life. You've earned every dollar in your bank account, every check that hits on the first of the month. You deserve to walk into a grocery store and trust what you're buying. Trust that the prices are honest. Trust that the meat is safe. Trust that someone actually cares whether you come back next week. The chains at the bottom of this list have forgotten that. They see you as a transaction, a revenue line, someone who will keep coming back because you don't have better options. But you do have options. Maybe the better store is 15 minutes farther. Maybe it means changing habits you've had for decades. But every time you spend money, you're casting a vote for what kind of grocery industry you want, for what standards you'll accept. Here's a challenge for you. This week, pick one chain from the bottom of this list and move just one of your weekly purchases, meat, produce, or dairy, to a better store. See how it feels. See if the quality is different. See if you feel different walking out. The chains that are still doing it right, Trader Joe's, Wegmans, H-E-B, your local stores that still care, they need your business. And the ones at the bottom of this list, they need to feel it when customers walk away. You've earned better, now demand it. If this video helped you think differently about where you shop, share it with someone who needs to see it. And let me know in the comments, which grocery store do you trust with your weekly shop? And which one lost your trust for good? Thanks for watching.